Oh, I'm Max from Grasshopper Media, and I'm just going to quickly go over this list of popes here. I was kind of curious as to what number Benedict was, and he is number 265 at the end of this list. But I wanted to know who the first pope was, and they're claiming that Peter or Saint Peter, Petrus, Simon Peter, the actual disciple, is the first um, pope, I guess. Okay, so if he's the first, and it's claiming to be passing down from him directly, perhaps because he was sworn in by the people of that area, him and Paul, as the actual Christians, right? So I guess he passed it on to Saint Linus. So they're saints at this point, and it wasn't until 325 that Constantine actually basically accepted the Christians into, I guess, the Roman Catholic Empire by merging pagan timekeeping and ritualistic everything, so that it all could be brought together, so that they wouldn't have the Christians fighting against them anymore, or at least sacrificing themselves by saying that Rome had no authority over their servitude, their choice of servitude. You can see the hats are starting here though with these Saint, like, Dionysius. I'm not too sure here. So it was about 325. We're coming up here when there's 352. St. Marcus, 325. So it's in here. St. Sylvester would be the one during the time of Constantine. And then we have St. Julius. Perhaps that may have some influence. I'm not sure on July, the month of July and August. It almost definitely has to do with the Caesars, of course, for those dates. July and August. And then, September.
Hilarious.
Saint Hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious with the double cross there and the three tit tit tit. That's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. So we can go all through all these. There's so much research that could be done, of course, but of course, the point is that I was just watching a video, and it's naming, Wycliffe and Martin Luther and all these other different let's say researchers had identified, right up, Isaac Newton being one of them, identified the Pope as the Antichrist. So the Pope has been around for a very long time, over 1,000 years, if we're talking about the Pope as in the chair that the Pope has been sitting in. There's Benedict III.
Looks like a nice guy.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to say, because you never know how many of these guys may have been nice guys. Deceiving. That's right. There's a show on TV that actually documents the life of one of these guys, and he had children, all sorts of stuff. Like, you're not allowed to have kids.
Superstar,
and stuff like that,
ladies man.
Like, look at this guy. Wow. And of course, the Crusades go on through all of this, and how long did they actually? Like, this guy was only in for 4 years.
Some of them were only in for
like
6.
like a president. There's 3 years, if that. Not even full 3 years. But yeah. So going through here, there's Benedict V. Now their names Papa, Father. So they're all being called Father right now.
Sylvester.
That's it. There's Benedict the Eighth. Oh, V. The letter V upside down is the number 10. Commonly the letter A. For like, and I know it isn't really, but that's something I've been seeing a lot lately. That like Atlantis, A. The A in Atlantis. So of course, the Pope or the Catholic Church very likely is just using the Lord's name in vain. Here we go with the three. 1, 2, 3. There's your Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And he's the one, isn't he?
Honorius.
Underneath. And of course, Santa Claus. Christmas comes from the cult of Saturnalia. Ooh, what was this? 1292 to 1294. There was an interregnum. There was no pope for 3 years in 1292.
Okay, and the V represents the angle between the thumb and the forefinger of an open hand.
Oh, right, like in that Glee. Yeah.
And the X was made by placing two V's on top of each other, one inverted.
2 V's makes the X, which is 10. But an A, there is no upside down V, eh?
Yeah, there is an upside down.
An upside down V
I'm
would
just trying to find out what the definition for it is.
See, Rome is very tricky, of course. Here we go. We got some Santa Claus type characters here. 1492. Alexander the Sixth, Pius the Third, Julius the Second. So, do your own research. Frankly, I'm not a Catholic, that's for sure. I'm not a Christian either, by the definition of the word, because I don't think anybody else has professed that I'm a Christian. I'm not going to go around saying, hey, you need to know me as this. Nobody knows my name, and I'm not asking for counsel with anybody. I don't need to trust you. You don't need to trust me. I don't think any of us need to trust anybody like that. Here we come up. So we got Pius X here.
Inverted is the same. V inverted is the same.
Inverted is the same.
You can write it right side up or
Oh,
upside down.
so V upside down is supposed to be a 5. Maybe that's why in Atlantis it's got 2 of them, and that adds up to 10. That would make sense. So this is the Pope here we had during right before World War I, when August 20th. When was the Federal Reserve created? Was it 1912? So it was during this time. No, it wasn't. No, it was World War I started right after it was created. So this is the guy around between World War I.
1912.
Look at this guy was the Pope, Papa Pius Undecimus. Undecimus. That means 11.
Pius, yeah, he must.
Undecimus. Undecimus. Yes, undecimus. So, this guy was here from 39 to 58. And yeah,
Duodecimus.
there's this John guy, and then you got Servant of God Paul VI. This is
Tertius.
before anything I can remember. And you got John Paul I, and then you got John Paul II, which we all know and some people love. And apparently 1.2 billion people love this guy. And reading into what the Jesuits, what they swear to this guy. Like, this guy is the guy, and anything he says to do, they do. Why? Because it's passed down all the way.
You're not supposed to swear.
Apparently, and you're not supposed to. My yay is yay, and my nay is nay, and you don't swear to anything, and put nothing before him. Nothing. And Peter would tell you that. Like, you read the scriptures, this guy would not tell you to follow the church like that. Like what the Pope is telling you. He wants you to do. It's kind of silly. It's kind of really silly. I don't know what to say, people. But, anyway, it's a good way of looking at it. It's a better way of, just reiterating that first law. And if you know the first law, put nothing before him, then you know to do no harm. And you know to also not take more commandments from any kind of false prophets, be it the Pope or Muhammad.